પરિમલભાઈ તમારે અનમ્યુટ કરવું પડશે.
Meeting is called to order. I request today's Master of Ceremony, Rotarian Parimalbhai Vasavda, to conduct the meeting ahead.
Good evening, friends. Am I audible to all?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Good evening, friends. I am very excited, in fact, and it's a really pleasure to meet you virtually, all of you, after a very, very long time. Really long time. ખૂબ સરસ પ્રસંગ છે અને સારી સદભાવનાથી આપણે શરૂ કરીએ આપણી રિવાજ મુજબ. હું એન વર્ષાબેન શાહને પ્રેયર મીટિંગ માટે રિક્વેસ્ટ કરું છું. વર્ષાજી આપણે બધા જાણીએ છીએ એમ ખૂબ સરસ ગાય છે, તો મિસ વર્ષા શાહ.
आसरा इस जहां का मिले ना मिले, आसरा इस जहां का मिले ना मिले, मुझको तेरा सहारा सदा चाहिए, मुझको तेरा सहारा सदा चाहिए. चांद तारे फलक पर दिखे ना दिखे, चांद तारे फलक पर दिखे ना दिखे, मुझको तेरा नजारा सदा चाहिए, मुझको तेरा सहारा सदा चाहिए. आसरा इस जहां का मिले ना मिले, यहाँ खुशियाँ है कम और ज्यादा है गम, यहाँ खुशियाँ है कम और ज्यादा है गम. जहाँ देखो वही है भरम ही भरम, जहाँ देखो वही है भरम ही भरम. मेरी चाहत की दुनिया बसे ना बसे, मेरी चाहत की दुनिया बसे ना बसे, मेरे दिल में उजाला तेरा चाहिए, मुझको तेरा सहारा सदा चाहिए. आसरा जिस जहां का मिले ना मिले, मेरी धीमी है चाल और पथ है विशाल, मेरी धीमी है चाल और पथ है विशाल. हर कदम पर मुसीबत है अब तो संभाल, हर कदम पर मुसीबत है अब तो संभाल. पैर मेरे थके हैं चले ना चले, पैर मेरे थके हैं चले ना चले, मेरे दिल में इशारा तेरा चाहिए, मुझको तेरा सहारा सदा चाहिए. आसरा इस जहां का मिले ना मिले.
Thank you very much. Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. સંભળાય છે?
હા સંભળાય છે.
ઓકે, થેન્ક યુ વેરી મચ વર્ષાજી. આશરા જ્ઞાન અત્યારે આપણે જે સબ્જેક્ટ છે મને લાગે બહુ જ એપ્રોપ્રિએટ છે. આપણે જ્ઞાન અને આપણો સહારો અત્યારે જ્ઞાન અને ગુરુ એ છે. થેન્ક યુ વેરી મચ. હવે હું અમિતાભભાઈને રિક્વેસ્ટ કરીશ ફોરવે ટેસ્ટ માટે, એ આપણને ફોરવે ટેસ્ટની રજૂઆત કરે.
The four-way test of things that we think, say or do. First is whatever that we are thinking or saying or doing, if we apply these tests on whatever that is happening today or in our life, it's a really helpful thing, whether it's a business or family. First is it truth? Second is it fair to all concerned? કોઈને પણ અન્યાય તો થઈ નથી રહ્યો ને એ જોવાનું છે. Third, will it build friendship and better goodwill? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
થેન્ક યુ અમિતાભભાઈ, વેલ સેડ. ફોરવે ટેસ્ટના જે ચારેય માર્ગદર્શક આપણને સિદ્ધાંતો છે એ ખૂબ જ કામના છે આપણે માટે. ખાસ તો મારે આજે અર્પિતભાઈને અને ટીમ 2020-21 અભિનંદન આપવા. ખૂબ સરસ સબ્જેક્ટ અને ખૂબ સમયસર તમે પસંદ કર્યો છે. બહુ જરૂરી વિષય છે. આઈ એમ વેરી હેપી and I think we all will have a really some good learning from our learned speaker. I now request President Arpit Bhai to say a few words.
Thank you, Parimal Bhai. Good evening, Rotarian friends and invited guests. આપણી આ મહિનાની આ સેકન્ડ મીટિંગ છે અને this being a literacy month, ઋત્વિજભાઈએ જ્યારે મને કીધું કે આપણે એજ્યુકેશનને રિલેટેડ કોઈ વાત કરીએ અને જો આ ન્યૂ એજ્યુકેશન પોલિસી છે એના પર કોઈ વાત કરે તો બહુ જ સરસ. તો ઇમિડિયેટલી મારા મગજમાં સચિનભાઈનો ખ્યાલ આવ્યો કે સચિનભાઈ ઇઝ ધ બેસ્ટ પર્સન હુ કેન ગાઈડ અસ. અને મેં સચિનભાઈને ફોન કર્યો અને હી ઇમિડિયેટલી એગ્રીડ અને વી કુડ ડુ ઇટ. તો સચિનભાઈનો એના માટે ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર. ફ્રેન્ડ્સ, આપણી ક્લબની થોડીક વાત કરી લઉં તો મોસ્ટ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ આપણો લાસ્ટ યરનો એક વી હેડ અ વેરી ગુડ પ્રોજેક્ટ દેટ વોઝ ઓફ ટિમ્બા સ્કૂલ. Timba school project was going on, but because of pandemic issues, it was the project halted for some time. Now Falgun Bhai is taking care of it, and Falgun Bhai has made other arrangements, and we'll be starting that project, finishing that project very soon. So that is one thing that we are going to do. 17th na we have a very important program. This being 25th year of our club, and we have so many members, new members who have joined in past few years, those who are not knowing much about our club's past. So Himaliben Ajmera, Dr. Kalpesh Shah, Dr. Praful Jarmarwala and Archita Ben Pandya, all the four of them are working very hard on this program. They will be giving us lot of details of last 25 years on 17th. The kind of work, kind of efforts they have put in, that is tremendous. I'll request all our past president and team to see that we invite maximum number of people to this meeting, and also invite the members who have left us. And je lokone tamari, if you have got contacts, do invite them. They will also enjoy. So I'll request all of you to join in large number on that day. I think I'm not taking much time today. I'll request Parimal Bhai to take over and say proceed ahead.
થેન્ક યુ અર્પિતભાઈ. વેરી એક્સાઇટિંગ ન્યૂઝ. 17મી તારીખે 25 વર્ષની જે આપણી યાત્રા છે એના વિશે વાત થશે. ઇટ્સ અ વન્ડરફુલ ઇવેન્ટ. આઈ થિંક ઓલ ઓફ અસ મસ્ટ જોઈન. બહુ જ મોટા ફેરફારો આવી રહ્યા છે 34 વર્ષ પછી આપણી નવી એજ્યુકેશન પોલિસીની અંદર, અને 5.3.3+4 એવી બધી આખી મૂળભૂત ફેરફારો થઈ રહ્યા છે. 6% એજ્યુકેશન બજેટની ફાળવણી થઈ છે. એ બધી બધી વાતો આપણે સચિનભાઈ પાસેથી સાંભળીશું. હું અંકુરભાઈને વિનંતી કરીશ કે એ આપણા આજના સ્પીકર વિશે એમનું ઇન્ટ્રોડક્શન આપે. અંકુરભાઈ પ્લીઝ. અંકુરભાઈ સત્તાની પ્લીઝ.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Respected dignitaries and Rotary Fellow on this digital platform. Very good evening to all of you. Hope everyone, including their families, are safe and healthy during this pandemic. it gives me great pleasure to welcome and introduce my college buddy, our club's member, and today's speaker, Dr. Sachin Parikh. He has done PhD in chemical engineering from MS University, Baroda, and presently serving as Joint Director of Technical Education with Government of Gujarat. Today, he will be speaking about new education policy and future of our next generation. Ever since his doctoral graduation, he has been involved in academics as professor cum principal of VVP Engineering College at Rajkot. During his tenure, college has received Best Engineering College Award from Indian Society of Technical Education. He was youngest Senate member and Dean of Faculty of Technology in Saurashtra University. He has served as Professor cum HOD of Chemical Engineering Department at Airlie Engineering College. He is an independent director of BEIL and ETL at Ankleshwar. Both these companies are public limited companies. He is a member of Academic Council of Gujarat Technical University. He is a chairman of Indian Institute of Chemical Engineering, Ahmedabad chapter. He has published more than 20 papers in the reputed journals. He has been PhD supervisor for about 8 students, out of which 2 students have completed their research on different topics of chemical engineering. Dr. Parikh is also a fascinating individual, and we are thankful for his presence among us today. Please welcome him to share the subject through this digital platform. Dr. Sachin Parikh, please.
Thank you, Ankur Bhai. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, please.
Ankur Bhai was my senior, and I'm happy to say that I introduced him to this club, and now he is more active and going to be a future board member in the present year to come. Respected President Arpit Bhai, Secretary Rutvij Bhai, dear Rotarian, respected Rotarians, and invited guest. Parimal Bhai has created a lot of hypes about this subject. So I hope I would be able to satisfy and suffice the expectations of all the viewers and participants. To begin with, there is one very beautiful said by one of the governor of our state of Haryana. I attended NEP conclave this Monday on 7th of September, where the President of India and Prime Minister himself remained present throughout the conclave, and it was a full day program organized by Education Department of Government of India. The participants were all the governors of different states and educational minister of different states, and they had a very good brainstorming sessions related with NEP, and it was a very successful program. So one of the governor, I begin with what one of the governors said, आपकी नियत जैसी होती है उस हिसाब से आपकी नीति तय होती है, आपकी नियत जैसी होती है उस हिसाब से आपकी नीति तय होती है, और आपकी नीति के आधार पर आपकी नियति तय होती है. So to this, why it is applicable as far as national education policy is concerned, because the screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Visible.
Yes. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So my flow presentation would be about the history of NEP related to schools and preschools, and then it is related to higher education. The purpose of, as Parimal Bhai said, that after 34 long span of 34 years, this policy has come into conclusion. It took almost 4 years, or I should say almost 3 years and 9 months to complete this project of NEP. So to begin with, the basic idea of this particular policy, if I want to describe, I'm taking the support of the Swami Vivekananda, and he said that education means the process by which character is formed, the strength of mind is increased, and intellectually sharpened, and as a result of which one can stand on one's own feet. If I begin with the history of NEP, so the first NEP was promulgated in 1968 by the government led by Srimati Indira Gandhi ji. The second by Sri Rajiv Gandhi in 1986, and almost after 34 years, it was the government of India led by PM Sri Narendra Modi appointed a new committee under K. Kasturi Ranjan ji. You are aware about the background of the Kasturi Ranjan. He was our the chairman of ISRO, eminent professor, and Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, and very eminent person in the field of education. So under his leadership, there were total 8 members were there. Mrs. Vasudha Kamath, Krishna Mohan Tripathi, Manjul Bhargav. His name is very, very famous across the world of mathematics, because recently he won the mathematics award, which is almost, we can say, equivalent to Nobel Prize. Mr. M.K. Sridhar, Mr. Ram Shankar, T.V. Kathman, Mazhar Asif, and Shukla Samansu. So 8 people, 8 members led by Sri Kasturi Ranjan, and it took almost 3 years and 9 months to complete this draft. And I must say that it is still under a draft is produced by the committee. Final resolutions will come very soon. And the declaration recently it was declared, so it was revised after almost, we can say, 35 years of last amendment. So to begin my actual session about NEP, I wanted to clarify 1 or 2 things. I'm trying to explain my presentation. I will try to brief my presentation in such a way that it should be completely unbiased, without inclining towards the ruling party, that is a saffron party, we can say BJP, or the opposite party, we can say Congress or left government. Because if you are reading a newspaper or watching a channels, there are always views and counter views are there. But I will try to see that I will present the this particular presentation by keeping all the facts and figures and try to be as neutral as possible. What is the vision of PM Narendra Modi? And basic question would ask why it took 3 years and 9 months to prepare a draft. Friends, almost 15 lakhs of people have given the feedback related and give suggestions related to NEP. And we all know that India is one of the most heterogeneous kind of country, where different kind of stratas of societies which are there, where the people from economical background or highly economical class background, social structures are very, very complex and different compared to other countries. So considering all the section of the society, this particular draft has been produced. And the best part is, even still there is a scope given to the people. If you provide any good input or suggestions, they are ready to implement this, and finally they will go with the resolution. So implementation is going to take place within very short span, but implementation is very, very important. The draft is really very beautiful. They worked extremely hard. They try to cover almost all aspects of the areas which are uncovered or untouched in the present educational policy. This particular policy is, if I want to give some primary background about this particular policy, this policy is a combination, very good combinations of our Eastern culture and Western cultures. So what is our Eastern culture is basically, we all know very well, that is of ashram paramparas. The ashram parampara is thousands of years old, where there were ashrams.
સચિનભાઈ,
Ji.
એક મિનિટ હો, અત્યારે સ્લાઇડ નંબર 6 ચાલી રહી છે. એક
જી,
મેમ્બર
જી.
નો ફોન આવ્યો તો કે એમને સ્લાઇડ મૂવ નથી થતી, તો બીજા કોઈ મેમ્બર ને એવો પ્રોબ્લેમ છે કે બધાને 6 નંબર દેખાઈ રહ્યો છે?
મને 6 દેખાય છે.
હા, 6
ડોક્ટર કલ્પેશ શાહ, મને બી 6 દેખાય છે.
ઓકે, ફાઇન ફાઇન. સચિનભાઈ, કેરી ઓન.
Yeah, thank you. So I was talking about the ashram paramparas, where ashram is there and rishis were, handling those ashrams, and students used to go there and they learn all kind of different kind of skills related to formal educations, related with farming, even cooking, and so many other things. And they, try to make the persons perfect, and perfect in the way that when he comes back to the society, he can be able to survive well and behave well and contribute in the progress of the society. And there is a Western culture where the pioneer of pre-education is Monte Carlo, but very famous what we referred is Bloom's taxonomy. So in a single word, if I want to say what exactly the Bloom taxonomy is about, application of head, heart, and hand. Head means the development of the intellectual property. Heart means the development of emotional quotient. And hand means along with this, he or she should be having some physical strength to cope up the work. So it is a very good combinations of Eastern and Western school of thoughts. The second thing which is very, very important is, so far, most of the courses, you are very well aware that particularly the courses offered by the state government are having a major substantial amount of mugging component. જેને આપણે ગોખણપટ્ટી સાદી ગુજરાતીમાં કહીએ છીએ. So this particular component, would they try to eliminate this particular component by development of critical thinking. And the very, very important thing over here is, the application of or the use of mother tongue extensively till almost, we can say, 8th year, the child become at the age of 8th year. So this is very important because it has been proven that if you teach the child with mother tongue, the absorption capacity, the learning capacity increases substantially. So this is finally the purpose is to again make the India the Vishwa Guru. All of you are aware about the history or the story behind the Nalanda and Takshashila, where people from the students from outside India, particularly from China and other countries, used to come to our place to learn the things, take the education. And the scenario now is different. Our children, we are sending them to USA or Europe or Australia for higher studies. So after, we hope that after some span, some 5 years, 10 years down the line, that flow would be reversed. The brain drain would get substantially reduced, and there will be, the emerging of India as a knowledge economy. So that is the purpose. So what exactly the highlight of this particular, the policy is, what is his vision? The Prime Minister vision is, it highlights the national education policy will be the foundation of new India. the India of 21st century. It will give the education and the youth the education and the skill set they need. Now, friends, I would like to say that whenever the government coins any kind of word, nowadays we are so much hearing and referring Atmanirbhar Bharat. There is a purpose behind this particular word. There is, you know, some kind of philosophy and some kind of intention is there whenever government coins any kind of word. The reason of providing Atmanirbhar Bharat is to make ourselves self-confident and competent against China. And why our competition and why the China is our biggest enemy, and what exactly happened because of that we are so much dependent on China. I will try to cover that aspects also in my presentation. But the thing is, after Narendra Modi became Prime Minister, you are frequently hearing certain types of words. Keep on, you know, hearing such words, that is stand up in India, startup India, digital India, etc. So what is the purpose of this? So the purpose is very, very clear, that in our country, the resources are very limited. At the same time, the demand is huge. The biggest problem with us is our population. So to cater the population, to cater the, you know, to get the required job or to get the employment of our youth, this type of words and based on these words, consecutive policies are very, very important. And the purpose of coining such type of word is, the purpose of government is to make the youth a job providers instead of job seekers. And myself and Amit Bhai are working extensively in this particular direction. I will throw some light also during my presentation. At the same time, the major issue with our system, social system, is there are so many young students. They get dropouts after 7 standards, after 10 standards, after 12 standards, after you know, first year of graduation, second year of graduation, and very, very few percentage of students are able to go for higher education. After completing graduation, they go undergraduation, they go for post graduations. So all these factors, you know, are covered well. And as I said, the special focus is on to make the India a superpower. Unfortunately, so far, our the education, overall education, has not been taken into much consideration by any government, whosoever has come. Ideally, for any progressive country, the country should spend 6%, minimum 6% of its GDP for the development of education, for the growth of education and educational institutes. And when you spend 6% or more than 6%, it would be viable and economical for all kind of societies of our country to go for take the education almost free of cost. So that provision is also there in this particular new educational policy. The basic focus is shifted from what to think to how to think. You know, this is very, very important. When we teach the students, when we start first lecture of our engineering, we generally say that your 7 Ws are, make your 7 Ws as your good friends. Whatever we are saying, don't believe it blindly. You should ask continuously questions to yourself, and you should ask questions to us in terms of how, when, what, which, where, why, and when. So it is very important that when you are learning something, when the child is in a growing stage, it is very important that the child gets idea about how to learn the things instead of what to learn the things. And a very, very important, I should say, a key word for NEP is critical thinking. And critical thinking and innovation is related with our, as I said, with the youth of our today's generation. Our generation, like my generation or the almost whatsoever as attending these sessions, we were competing with our class, we were competing with our state, our district or our city, or few of them compete with our some given the national exams or with our youth of the country. But now the youth has a competition with the youth of USA, youth of China, and youth of other countries. So the development of critical thinking and innovation thinking in youth mind is very, very important and substantial. And the other aspect which is taken into consideration is there is a substantial inclusion of multidisciplinary approach and interdisciplinary approach. Multidisciplinary approach and interdisciplinary approach, if I would like to explain, I can say that if I am a student of engineering and I am interested to learn about the literature, now there will be a provision in NEP. I can go and study the Shakespeare. I can go and study the any good literature of our ancient, even our culture also. In today's education system, current education system, there is limitations. I cannot officially learn the other subjects than engineering if I am a student of engineering. So this is important. Even there is, a kind of water compartment is there, which we are slowly eliminating. A student of mechanical engineering, if he wanted to learn the subject of electronics engineering, it would not be possible in our system. He can learn unofficially, but that grade or the credit will not be, deposited or credited in its results or mark sheet. So this kind of provisions will be there in NEP, where interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary approach would be provided, and because of that, there will be, students will have a 360-degree view about the overall education system. So India will observe, if this will be implemented in a near future, India will observe transformation of its youth into global citizens who will be deep-rooted in their values to their country. And as I said, that it recommends teaching in the mother tongue as far as possible, and at least till standard 5th to strengthen the foundation. Now, the most important part is this NEP it inculcates creativity, curiosity, and commitment among the youth. You can directly relate this term with our present education systems of mugging, right? The NEP also focus on upskilling of teachers and teachers training. So far, whatever education policies came were student-centric. This is for the first time, this policy is teacher-centric. If I want to say in a very simple Gujarati language, Kuwama hoy to avadama ave, means if the teacher is proficient, is having a high expertise of his subject, his or her subjects, he or she would be able to deliver the content to the students. If he or she doesn't have that skill, it would be difficult for the teachers to pass on the resource or educations or knowledge to the students. So there is a very good emphasis on purpose, philosophy, and the patience of the education. I would say that at present it is very unfortunate part that every year one of the very standard reputed organization brings or comes out with 100 top universities across the world, and since last 5 years I'm observing that none of our universities are having a place in top 100 universities. So we hope that with the implementation of this particular NEP in a time to come, like 5 years, 10 years, a few of our university will take place, is name in this top 100 universities. what the vision of this is to curb the gap between the education and research. This is very, very important. And as I said, Amit Bhai and myself are doing really extensive work. And I'm very happy that Amit Bhai is providing very good support and is having a very good zeal to offer students a kind of, a platform in the industry. The industry institute interaction is extremely important. Now, what is the difference? Why we are lagging is in European countries or in USA, if any company, let's say for example, you take the case of Mercedes. So if they are going with the new model, the prototype is first finalized in the laboratory of particular university, and then they scale up or make the production in the industry. There is so much of, a bonding between the industry people and the professors of institutes. Here there is a flow, and both are responsible. Industry people are responsible, and we educationalists are also responsible. There is a gap between industry, whatever happening in the industries, and whatever we are teaching in the institute. And because of that, the students are not having a certain kind of mindset of working in the industrial environment and creating a kind of innovations and research in the area, in his or her areas. So this will be, this policy will try to eliminate this kind of gap between the industry and the institute, and will focus on research areas also. To ensure the talent of India, which stays in India, as I said, we are trying to make India as a knowledge economy and reduce the brain drain. And also it allows the top ranking institutes of the world to set up campuses in India. Immediately we cannot, any universities without taking support of existing top universities, it would be difficult to become top 100. So we need support of those who are, the front runners. So there is a provision, and which is really highly welcome. And because of that, competition will also increase in the local, between the local, among the local universities. So NEP will allow the top institutes of the world to set up campuses in India, and it encourages the youth to reskill and upskill to be upgraded. So in this particular policy, there is a plan, and they have slowly implemented. You are aware about one of the scheme that we call it as a Atal Tinker laboratory, which they provide to the schools, primary schools and secondary schools. Atal Tinker labs, generally they are providing 3 to 4 different kind of kits. They provide the kits related with IoT, that is Internet of Things. They provide kits to prepare the drone. They provide, some kind of a small computer kits for developing the programs, how to prepare, how to make connect different hardwares, etc. So what is the need of this? The need is, as I said, that there are our dropout because of our social and financial structure. There are some places like particularly like Bihar, UP and Orissa. The parents don't have much amount of fees, and forcibly they have to take the children out of the schooling systems. So in such case, if students say, for example, completing 10th standard and stop working, he or she should be able to capable enough to work and get the earning, some good amount of earning. If the student has learned how to prepare the drone, or how to make a small IoT kind of structure, how to do some kind of plumbing or some kind of skills he or she is having, he or she should be able to capable enough to earn good amount of money. So that is one of the idea behind this. And at the same time, the youth of today's generation prefer white collar job. So white collar job has very few, not all are having white collar jobs. students have to work in the field, students have to work in the industry. So the importance of physical work also would be included. So innovation, as I said, it is really a key word, and that's why those who are present, my friends who are present with having academic background, are aware that the government is literally forcing us to make students innovative, and they are, you know, not only forcing, they are motivating, they are providing all kind of financial support to us to make the students capable, or I should say create a kind of its own startup. So such kind of motivation is provided only and only because we have to stand in front of the world. We have to stand in front of the present 21st century world. And at the same time, there is a limitations of youth. The job generation is very much limited. So all the youth get some kind of employment. So that is also one of the purpose. The Prime Minister called this as a Mahayagna, and as I said, it took 3 to 4 years to complete this project. So what is the need? As I said, that the need is to provide a uniform education policy across the country without any kind of discrepancy or any kind of biasing, to have regulation in what is being taught, to improve the teaching, learning pedagogy and methodology, to remove disambiguating and avoid discrimination in education, and to justify the quality of education with international standards. So what is the vision of education policy? As I said, it is a very good combination of Western and Eastern school of thoughts. So it is aimed at providing a global-based education system rooted in Indian ethos and aligned with the principles initiated above, thereby transforming India into a global knowledge superpower. We all aware that our Honorable Minister of Education is Ramesh Pokhriyal. When this was started, the ministers were different. Honorable MOS of HRD is Sri Dhotreji, and Chief Chairperson of Committee is Kasturi Ranjan. The key points of this particular policy is, as Parimal Bhai said, it is having 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 rules instead of our PUC, that is 10 plus 2 system, existing system. So it is having very good formula of 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So 5 years, first 5 years is having a foundation. Second is having, focus is on the preparatory role. The third is middle age, middle level role. And fourth level means 4 year is pertaining to high school. Then, as I said, compulsory mother tongue or local language education initially. Enabling computer languages and soft skills. This is very important in NEP to begin with. I think 4th or 5th standard onwards, the students will start learning some kind of the language, computer language. It would be rather, I would say, very simple language, but the students must be getting aware about the computer culture. There is a 360-degree development. This is very important. Nowadays, what is most of the students who are coming from middle class family or lower middle class family, the purpose of education is to get the job. That is the purpose. And there is a very, very limited areas like engineering or medical or some law or few others, very, very small areas, zones are there. So if the student is having affinity towards some kind of, say painting or writing, the student coming from middle class has to stop this activity and he has to begin with, he has to focus on the formal education. So with this NEP, it is basically focused on bhar vinanu bhantar. Like atyare, you are observing that our kids and our grandchildren of few are going to school with a very high amount of, the weight of the bunch of textbooks and books, etc. So that is the focus. And at the same time it will have a overall development of the students. The students should be able to, you know, write well. He or she should be able to present himself or herself well. At the same time is having a very good amount of critical thinking. So all these things taken into consideration. Flexibility of choosing subject. As I said, if I'm a student of Bachelor of Engineering, I can take any subjects related with commerce or any subjects of arts. And there is a multi-exit mode during these 4 years of undergraduate. This is very, very unique. No, so far, like, you know, in the history, this particular system has not been established yet. Now, when I said I focus and I said that this particular system, why it is having a Indian root, Indian ethos, because when the British people, English peoples were ruling India, they established one commission like similar to Kasturi Ranjan Commission. The commission was headed by Macaulay. Few of you, our members, might have heard about the name of Macaulay. So he, you know, completely changed our existing system of our Indian culture, our Indian education system, which was almost 5,000, 10,000 years old, into a kind of system which produced particularly a typical, you know, a kind of clerks and babus. There was very much limitations where of a person with having a critical idea or critical thinking. So this particular, you know, with the care has been taken in this NEP in such a way that our Indian ethos and cultures are trying to re-establish this culture. And if I would like to say that here, that it was headed, this NEP was headed by Kasturi Ranjan. He is completely non-political person, highly eminent person. So he has taken care that all aspects of educations, modern education as well as ancient wisdoms, have been taken into consideration. So the school education will, if I say that school education, early child care and education, the foundation of learning, what we call it as ECCE. So here the NCERT will develop the curriculum across the India. Like, you know, unlike today's situation, there is a state government and its board is there, Gujarat Secondary Board, Higher Secondary Board. All these things would be eliminated, and there will be only one agency, that is NCERT, and NCERT will develop the curriculum for children up to age of 8 years. Now this 8 years, this education is divided into two categories. 0 to 3 years, we call it as a preschooling, and 3 to 8 years, that will be the beginning of education. So in government system or government schools, you are aware about the Anganwadi Yojana. So Anganwadi workers would be trained to, you know, teach the students of 3 to 8 years, and private and other schools, so teachers will also be given the training. But the basic focus during this particular time period would be on art, stories, poetry, songs, and more. The focus would be on childcare and parental guidance, and the children will be made available, aware of our Indian traditions. As I said, mother tongue and local language would be given more importance, and special importance, as I said, would be given to the Anganwadi for preschooling. The interdisciplinary prerequisite, there will be more focus on reading, writing, speaking, counting, arithmetic, and mathematical thinking throughout the primary school curriculum, and the ability to read and comprehend the basic text, and ability to carry out basic addition and subtraction and Indian numerals. Now, as I said, this is a very serious issue, social issue, and this social issue is because of the economical issues of our country. that the drop standards or different places are very much high. So the NEP, one of the aspect of NEP is to make the GEP more than 50%. Means the dropout ratio, they try to eliminate reduce the as maximum dropout ratio as possible. So the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and Right to Education Act have enhanced the universal enrollment in the elementary education. However, because of, as I said, because of some serious issue, mainly financial issues, children leave the schools or the colleges. So this is a, the overall scenarios. Up to class 5th, the retention is 100%, and slowly as it moves in the higher standards, it percentage students retention decreases up to say 50% when the students reaches 11th or 12th standard. So this is, as Einstein said very well, that the education should be holistic. It must be having a approach of a holistic approach which covers the total system. So that thing is also taken into consideration. Our NEP would be holistic approach, integrated approach. Means the students would be very much aware that how it integrates the things, learning from one place to another place, link or coordinate, inclusives. It all kind of things would be included. At the same time, enjoyable in a relaxed way. Students can learn and engage, like it would be a real life based learning, not only a superficial learning or some kind of hypothetical learning. So this is a system restructuring of school curriculum to begin with. First to 5 years, it is a foundational level where 3 years of preschool and grade 1 and 2 is included. In the preparatory, 3 years, grade 3 to 5 is there. In the middle age or middle level, 3 years, grade 6 to 8, and high school for 4 years, grade 9 to 12 is there. Now there are, multilingualism is also provided. The medium of instruction would be mother language till grade 5, and if possible it would be beyond, and then it will be focusing on 3 language formula, like in our Gujarat vernacular language, our Gujarati, our national language Hindi, and English. And students whose medium of instruction is local home language will begin to learn science and mathematics bilingually in grade 6, so that by the end of grade 9 they can be able to speak science and other subjects both in its mother tongue as well as in the English. Government is going to start various Kendriya Vidyalayas and Navodaya Vidyalayas across the countries, and they are going to provide a special special educational zones, like special economic zones, to areas which are remote areas, which are having much not connectivity with what we call it as a disadvantaged area, to provide the best quality of educations. And also the Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalayas, particularly for the female childs, they are going to start. The curriculum and pedagogy in the school, as I said, there will be a subjects of artificial intelligence, design thinking, which is very, very important, design thinking. In our engineering also, we have made this course compulsory. This would be helpful to, create a kind of creativity of the students would be suffice with this particular subject. Holistic health, like yoga, pranayam in a day-to-day life, organic living, how to do farming of various organic products at relevant stage, which will be undertaken. Students, if they drop out at the 8th standards, also know about how to do carpentry, electric work, metal work, gardening, etc. Basic training in the health, including the preventive health. The second is very, very important. We are nowadays very much worried about, because every 1 hour one student we hear there is a death because of it's a suicidal attempt or suicidal death. So mental health is very important, nutritional and personal and public hygiene, and also first aid will also be included. It will also make compulsory of the few areas like constitutional ethics, sports, arts, etc. You, all of you, you are have must have seen the video or in the WhatsApp. Some students were asked, interviewed, who is our president, who is the governor of particular state. They gave some, the answers which made them laugh. But it is a very serious issue. The general knowledge of the youth, our youth, is very limited and very poor. So this type of provision of these subjects would improve. We hope that improve the general knowledge of the students, and students would be able to choose subjects from multiple stream and single streams. As I said, students will be able to study statistics, history, and physics at the same time in a class of standard 12th. If we talk about the higher education will be having a 180-degree shift in this particular NEP. So at present, the problem or the current issues which we are facing is majority of our colleges are offering a single programs and have fewer than 100 students, and large percentage of which are commercial enterprises in which little or no education is taking place. It is like a shop or a mall, shopping mall kind of a culture which is existing. Very unfortunate. I am comparing universities or college with a shopping mall or a shop, but this particular policy would try to see that such kind of culture would be diminished and a new culture would be established where students will be given a more focus on cognitive skills. There is a rigid separation of disciplines. Students of commerce will never be able to learn the subjects of engineering or subjects of any other streams. There is a lack of access to the higher educations. Still in the villages or in remote places, there is very limited number of colleges providing the higher educations. And at the same time, we don't have sufficient number of teachers and institutional autonomy to innovate and excel itself. When I said is institutional autonomy, I mean to say that any college or institute is having affiliation with a particular local university. So whatever the university impose in terms of rules and regulations or statutes and ordinance, the institute has to follow or obey the rules. The current issue is there is a inadequate mechanisms for merit-based career management and progression in the institutional leaders. Friends, here at this point where I mentioned about the lack of research at most universities and college, I would like to compare India with China. As I said in the beginning, I would also recommend all of you to read a very good book, The World is Flat by Thomson Friedman. So this particular book gave a very good comparison between the growth and development of China economy and India's economy, starting from 1980s to 2016. This book was published in the year 2017-18. So up to 2016, this author gave a very good relative ideas about where exactly we are, where the China is, and why the China is leading. The reason is till 1980s, our growth of both the countries were almost same or parallel. The GDP the growth was almost parallel of both the countries. But in 1980s, though China is headed by the leftist government, they focused on the research component and innovation component. And they gave huge amount of money in terms of grant to the various universities and institutions. And the present scenario is that if I refer the number of patents filed by across the world, in the year 2019, the number of patents filed in the total number of patents filed in the 2019 were 26,58,000. I'm sorry, 2,65,800. Total number of patents filed across the country in 2019 were 2,65,800. Now, China, out of that, China filed a patent of 58,990. USA is behind China. USA filed patent 57,840. And India, though in last 3 to 4 years, there is a substantial increase in filing the patents and awareness also has been increased. We filed 2,053 patents. So out of this 2,65,000, 22% share is of China, 21.7% share is of US, and India is having less than 1% share in terms of patent filing, right? And that is the reason that we are so much dependent in terms of electronics goods. We are dependent so much in terms of toy markets, and those who are dealing with chemicals and fertilizers, the pharmaceuticals, the bulk drugs, we are so much dependent upon the China. This is the reason they, systematically providing a good amount of resources and money to the universities and institutes of China. At the same time, they invited the best professors of Harvards and Oxfords and other best universities to invited in the China and provided all the supports to Chinese students. You are aware about the development of South Korea. Samsung company, out of this number of patents, if you see, Samsung is having the highest number of patents, followed by Huawei company. The UAE is very famous for this 5G issue. So why this Samsung is having maximum number of sharing of patents? Because what they do, this company do is they take the complete, the department, say for example, any university, national university is there. So national university, any engineering department, say for example, electronics and communication department, they take whatever the patents coming out, they take that patents, they have a kind of MOU that whatever the patents would come out, that will be given to the Samsung company. So this growth is taking place because of the country growth is taking place because they focused on the education, they focused on the research, and they focused on the innovation. Now we hope that this particular NEP will, we are not late so far, we have not missed the train, will give, again bring back our own legacy, and we see that in near future we will also stand with along with this forward countries. The vision is, as I said, would be to provide the large multidisciplinary universities, colleges with at least one or nearly at every district. Now we have Gujarat University. So Gujarat University is having affiliation of colleges in the Ahmedabad districts and some other districts also. But now in this NEP, every district, whether it is a small or a big district, will have its own one university, and there slowly this university will also diminish, and they will provide all power and autonomy to the individual institutes. There will be a pedagogy, there will be a revamping in the curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, and the student support for enhanced experience. At the same time, we have a vision of establishing national research foundation. Now, there are so many agencies are there, like Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology missions, etc. So there will be, now all will be merged, and there will be a single point entry, single point system, that is called it as a National Research Foundation, to found the outstanding peer-reviewed research and to actively seed research in the universities and colleges. And this governance of institutes will be provided by highly qualified independent boards with academic and administrative autonomy. uh, GER, like GDP in education, we call it as a gross enrollment ratio. It means the number of students taking admission at college level. At present, it is very less, that is 26.3%. But our target is by 2035, the GER will increase from 26% to 50%. And for that, we will have to generate around 35 million seats for higher educational institutes. And finally, the aim is to provide 100% literacy to the youth and adult. There is so much ambiguity, like 12th standard A group students will have to go for various types of exams, JEE, GUJSET, JEE Advanced, some private college entrance exams, so many 5 to 7 type of different exams he or she has to face. But now there will be in NEP there is a provision that there will be a kind of similar to GUJCET kind of one entrance or one national level exam will be there. And all these exams, whether it is related to medical or engineering or any streams, would be or whether it is related to legal or any kind of education, there is only one agency, what we call it as a national testing agency, will conduct this type of exams twice every year. The biggest issue is and now we are facing, like yesterday I read one of the tweet that which is very shocking, that some of the schools now they are providing online educations. So those students, those parents are not paying the fees to the school. They block the students online, or they block the WhatsApp online. They are not providing online materials or facilities to the students, which is very, very shocking. And because of this lockdown and COVID conditions, you are very much aware that there is a tremendous loss in the economy, and particularly to the middle class and lower class, middle class people. The students are highly intelligent, but unfortunately their parents are not able to provide the fees, necessary fees. And this provision has been taken into consideration in NEP, that any student who is having some economical or financial issues will not suffer or will not lose any chance to get study or for going for higher studies. One more thing which is very, very good and appreciable is, at present, if any students completing bachelor's degree and want to go for higher studies, he or she would prefer master degree. And if the students want to go for PhD, other than engineering, they have to do MPhil. It is a one-year course. MPhil is compulsory at present, and then only he or she would be eligible for going for PhD program. But in new education policy, you can do bachelor's followed by master's, and you can omit this MPhil of 1 year, and you can directly enroll in the PhD program. And there is a provisions of starting national institute for our ancient language, Pali, Persian, and Prakrit. You are aware that Sanskrit's more Germans know Sanskrit than more Indians, right? So there is enough care will be taken in this NEP policy to learn Sanskrit, and this language is what we call it as Pali, Persian, and Prakrit. So there will be a cultural kind of reboosting with this particular NEP. These are the various regulatory bodies. Now at present there are 10 to 12 regulatory bodies are there, but with this new education policy there will be only 4 regulatory body would be there. All this UGC, AICTE, would be eliminated, and in place of that, National Higher Education Regulatory Council, General Education Council, Higher Education Grant Council, and for accreditation, whether it is a NAC accreditation or NBA accreditation, there will be only one regulatory body, that is National Accreditation Council. If, as I said, that there is a multiple exit options are there, because of any kind of problem or situation, if a student want to opt out of its UG program, if a student complete first year of UG program, this is very important. If student complete first year of UG program, he or she gets the certificate, right? If if at present, if a student is left the study in the first year of second year of graduation or third year of graduation, he or she will not get the final degree certificate. But in this particular NEP, there is a provision that because of any unavoidable circumstances or situation, student is opting out from the educational program. In the first year, students get the recognition of a certificate. In the second year, advanced diploma. If completes in the third year, it will bachelor's degree, and finally bachelor's with research, right?
Doctor, sorry to interrupt. We are slightly running short of time.
Yeah. Just
so
2 minutes,
complete.
sir.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, as I said, the aim is to make our India again a Vishwaguru, and I just summarize the important aspects of national education policy, that we are going to encourage the universities from across the world to come and set up the institute, and then we will also encourage Indian universities in future to set up campuses in other countries after some time. We wanted to penetrate ourselves in top 100 universities. We will encourage our students for R&D and student exchange activities, and at the same time we would be so liberal that credits acquired in foreign universities will be counted for the award of degrees. So these are some of the basic ideas about the adult educations. The highlights related with the this national education policy. Thank you very much. Very sorry I could not યાદ ન રહ્યું અથવા તો ખબર ન પડી કે બહુ ટાઈમ થઈ ગયો છે. Sorry for that.
Thank you, Doctor. We do understand it is such a comprehensive subject. Impossibly possible tasks is the Education Policy 2020 for as complex country as India with social, economic, cultural diversities. I think the challenge is real, and you have tried to cover almost everything. It was very interesting. Thank you so much. Thank you. And preparing our youth for global competition, I think, and the largest youth population in the world, to me it is a really challenging task. So thank you very much, Doctor. I would now request, yeah, please.
પરિમલ ભાઈ, આપણે ઓલરેડી લેટ છીએ, પણ if somebody wants to ask તો થોડા 3-4 questions લઈ લેજો. ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ છે, ઘણા બધા લોકો they are raising their hand. And I'll request Sachin ભાઈ કે આ presentation if we can share તો ઘણા બધા લોકોને ફાયદો પણ થશે.
Yes sir, હું તમને શેર કરી દઉં છું સાહેબ.
અચ્છા, મને ખાલી એક જ સચિન ભાઈ, how are we compared to some of the good education policies of the world? કોક અલગ રીતે આપણે, if you can just elaborate us separately, that will be very interesting. Thank you.
જસ્ટ એક જ લાઈનમાં સર આપને કહી દઉં કે તમે જે કહેવા માંગો છો, જે પણ અત્યારની જે પ્રોગ્રેસિવ કન્ટ્રીઝ છે, એ પ્રોગ્રેસિવ કન્ટ્રીઝના જે સારી સારી વસ્તુઓ છે that have been included in our national education policy.
I think ભાઈ હાથ ઊંચો કર્યો છે સંજયભાઈ, અને there is somebody LVP, I cannot understand know the name, but સંજયભાઈ પહેલા પ્રશ્ન પૂછી લે.
Sachinbhai, a very lucid and wonderful presentation. Thank you. મારો એક જ સવાલ છે કે looking at the dismal our patent presentation, do you think that our IIT IIM model has failed?
Sir, IIT IIM models are most successful model, પણ કેટલા લોકોનો એનો ફાયદો મળે છે? તમારા જેવા કેટલા લોકો યુડીસીટી યુએસીટી માંથી પાસ થઈને બહાર નીકળી શકે છે? So with this policy, try to cater as maximum number of people, students as possible.
But sir, then I have a question to add. You said in your presentation that we don't even qualify any of our universities, neither IIMs nor IITs qualify in the top 100 on the global scenario. So isn't it surprising? We are not saying that who is getting exposure. See, there is lot of parity when we talk about pay scale, pay structure, employment, and that is why kids are getting different kind of schooling and education. And probably due to that point of parity in income, you shared a figure that from 100 the figure drops to 50, almost 50%, because as you move to higher classes, the education becomes little expensive. Schools are at distant places. So it becomes difficult. But then though having IIMs and IITs, still we don't qualify in top 100. So isn't it?
It is a good question. Actually, this university means any university which offers different type of courses. IITs, IIMs, like you say, for example, IIM is focusing on management courses, Masters of Business Administration, or related courses related with management. IITs, when we talk about IITs, are related with courses offered related with engineering and technology. So this, when I said university, it offers variety of courses, starting from arts and commerce and science and technology. So combinations of all these courses, there are so many parameters are there, ranging from the number of research papers published by the professors and students, the patents generated, the job employability. So many parameters are there. Based on those parameters, they evaluate and they give the ranking.
So sir, I have one more question to add to it. So in that case, what do you suggest? Means many of the universities are detaching themselves from the government university and are converting into privatization, deemed universities. So under that case, so it is not advisable, right? Am I right?
It depends from university to university. The governing body of the university is very, very important. Say, for example, like NIRMA detached itself before some 15 years from Gujarat University, and NIRMA developed its own name, NIRMA University. But same is not case for other universities. Sometimes, they take the decision in some kind of hasteness or because of some reasons. There are some cases where they take the decision because they wanted to earn the money. They get the autonomy and they can provide the courses without taking permissions from this government universities. So what is, the governing body's intention is very important.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. I think any more questions, or we go ahead?
Yeah. I have to ask one question. If
please.
I am being heard.
Okay.
Yeah. So from as you said, some from Saffron Brigade, or he is one eminent speaker, Mr. Pushpendra Kulshrestha. I heard. I have heard just. Yeah.
Yes.
So he told that our Vedas and Hindu education is not being given, but minorities can give their education and they can have all that facility, not only facilities, but they can educate like madrasas and everything, churches, and they so what about that? So Vedic education, it is not only even religious, but it is very much scientific, as all of we know. So what is the provision in this? And there is one second question, that as you told that Macaulay was he motivated to produce clerks in our country. So now, what is the emphasis? How will we reduce that clerkism, and how can this policy will be beneficial? So, I have studied for more than 25 years with distinction and with many colleges. Amit Bhai is my good friend. So, but it is a other feeling. But in all of this, in our MBA, there was open book exam or just other type of. So, what are the provisions? So, these are the two questions. What do you say in new
Right,
policy?
sir. So, as far as your first question is concerned, looking to the current audience or open platform, થોડોક diplomatic answer આપીશ. Personally તમને વધારે ડિટેલમાં આખું સમજાવીશ. Sir, this particular policy try to make in such a way that a secular pattern જે છે ઇન્ડિયાની અને જે કોન્સ્ટિટ્યુશનમાં લખાયેલું છે કે ઇન્ડિયા ઇઝ અવર સેક્યુલર કન્ટ્રી, એને ખાસ ધ્યાનમાં લીધેલું છે. That has been taken into consideration. Also, you mentioned about our Vedic philosophy also taken into consideration. એના માટે ઉપયોગ એક સારો વર્ડ છે સનાતન ધર્મ. સનાતન ધર્મ મીન્સ કે જે કોઈ એવો ભેદભાવ નથી કરતું, કોઈ એક ધર્મ ને બીજા ધર્મ સાથે ભેદભાવ નથી કરતો. તો સનાતન ધર્મની જે ફિલોસોફી છે એને આપણે કન્સિડર કરવામાં આવેલી છે આ પર્ટિક્યુલર નેશનલ એજ્યુકેશન પોલિસીમાં. જે બીજી વાત કરી તમે સાહેબ મેકોલેની, see when that time was different when Macaulay Commission was established. It was an imperial kind of a region. ત્યારની જે કાંઈ પોલિસી હતી એમાં મેકોલેના પછી પણ ઘણા લોકો ઘણી કમિશન્સ આવ્યા, એમાં ફેરફાર થયા, પણ એનું જે બેઝિક સ્ટ્રક્ચર છે મેકોલેનું જ રહ્યું. હવે જે બે મુખ્ય બાબત છે કે એક તો તમને પણ ખબર હશે, મને ખબર છે કે આપણે આપણા છોકરાઓ એકદમ પેલું જે ભાર લઈને આપણે ભણવા જઈએ છીએ, એટલી બધી બુક્સ ને ટેક્સ્ટ બુક્સ ને બધું લઈને જઈએ છીએ. સેકન્ડ થિંગ, ગોખણિયું મીન્સ પરીક્ષા આવે છે ને પરીક્ષાના ટાઈમે વાંચવાનું છે એટલે ગોખણ પટ્ટી કરવાનું. તો એક તો નંબર વન ઇઝ આ વસ્તુને બહુ ધ્યાનમાં આપવામાં આવ્યું છે ઇન નેશનલ એજ્યુકેશન પોલિસી કે મગિઝમને કમ્પ્લીટલી એલિમિનેટ થાય એના માટે ટ્રાય કરેલી છે. અને એના માટે એને બીકોઝ ઓફ ધેટ ક્રિટિકલ થિંકિંગ થઈ શકે, સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ પોતાની જાતે વિચારી શકે અને લખી શકે, એ that is taken into consideration. This is number one. Number two is as I said that the aim is not to provide a typical kind of babus and clerks, but to provide a person who can think in an individual way, પોતાની જાતે વિચારી શકે, and based on that person would be skilled enough to start his or her own enterprise. It may be a small scale enterprise, it can be a medium scale enterprise, પણ એનામાં એટલી સ્કિલ હોય જે I gave the examples of artificial intelligence and drone makings and internet of things or computer programming related. Even the students passed out from 8th standard or 10th standard would be able to prepare the drone, or it would be able to operate the IoT. Recently, I had been to one of the school, which was, a very good school in the village, somewhere near Wakaner. ત્યાં એક આપણા એક બહુ સારા ગુજરાતી પેલા મુંબઈના પેલા ડોનેશન આપેલું છે ને એ લોકોએ IoT ઇન્ટરનેટ્સ ઓફ થિંગ્સ બનાવીને they show me the real practical that લેબોરેટરીમાં બેઠા મોબાઈલ ઓપરેટ કરીને ખેડૂત એના ખેતરમાં જે પેલું કૂવામાંથી પાણી કાઢવાનું હોય એ કાઢી શકે અથવા તો કંટ્રોલ કરી શકે. So such things, such kind of skill development emphasis is given on the skill development. At the same time, તમને ખ્યાલ હશે અટલ ટિંકર યોજના કે જેમાં નાના બધા હાર્ડવેરનો ઉપયોગ કરીને નાના.
That's a very good scheme. That's a very good scheme. I know that many students of my but and skills are also good thing, but what I suggest or I think that the way of teaching and the examination should be somewhat different. Not to produce babus.
Yes, it would be different, certainly. There will be a tremendous, remarkable change in the examination pattern also.
Yeah.
And the way of teaching also.
Of course.
ચિનભાઈ આપણે એક કામ કરીએ, આપણે ઓફિશિયલ મીટિંગ નું કામ પૂરું કરીએ, પછી those who want to ask questions, સચિનભાઈ આપણી જોડે રહેશે ચોક્કસ. આપણે આ ઝૂમ મીટિંગ ચાલુ રાખીશું અને we'll take questions. I think that would be better.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for all the questions. એટલે ઘણી બધી વાતો થઈ શકે.
પરિમલભાઈ તમારો અવાજ બંધ થઈ ગયો છે.
Hello. Okay. Now I request our secretary Rutvij bhai to have his secretarial announcement, please. Thank you.
Friends, હું અપકમિંગ પ્રોગ્રામની વાત કરું તો 17મી સપ્ટેમ્બરે જે રીતે અર્પિતભાઈએ મીટિંગની શરૂઆતમાં કીધું કે we'll be going through our journey of 25 years in Rotary. હેમાલી બેન, કલ્પેશભાઈ, પ્રફુલભાઈ, અર્ચિતાબેન ખૂબ જ મહેનત કરી રહ્યા છે અને બધા મેમ્બર્સ આપણા હાજર રહે એવી ખાસ અપીલ છે. 24 સપ્ટેમ્બરે બિઝનેસ મીટિંગ છે. આપણે નો મેટ્રો ફેમિલી પ્રોગ્રામ કરીએ છીએ એવરી સેકન્ડ એન્ડ ફોર્થ સન્ડેના. 13મી તારીખે ઓલરેડી પાર્ટિસિપન્ટ્સ અમે આઈડેન્ટિફાઈ કરી દીધા છે. 13મી તારીખે રોટેરિયન ડોક્ટર પ્રથમેશ જૈન, રોટેરિયન મહેશ ખંભાતા, રાધે પટેલ અને હમણાં જે રિસન્ટલી જોઈન થયા છે ડોક્ટર પ્રવીણ શારદા, એ પોતાનું ઇન્ટ્રોડક્શન આપશે. 5 મિનિટનું જ ઇન્ટ્રોડક્શન હોય છે ને આખો પ્રોગ્રામ અડધો કલાકનો હોય છે. 13મીએ રવિવારે સવારે 10:30 વાગે આ પ્રોગ્રામ થશે, તો સર્વેને હાજર રહેવા માટે વિનંતી છે. હું મેમ્બર્સની બર્થડેની વાત કરું તો અર્પિતાબેન વ્યાસની બર્થડે 15 સપ્ટેમ્બરના છે. એમની બર્થડે નિમિત્તે એમને ખૂબ ખૂબ શુભકામનાઓ. સ્પાઉસ બર્થડેની વાત કરું તો ગીરા પ્રદીપ ચોકસીની બર્થડે 11મી સપ્ટેમ્બરે છે. સ્વેની શાલિન શાહની બર્થડે પણ 11મી સપ્ટેમ્બરે છે. સ્વાતિ ધ્રુવ પંડ્યાની બર્થડે 12મી સપ્ટેમ્બર છે. સંધ્યા કિરણ કોઠારીની બર્થડે 14મી સપ્ટેમ્બર છે. મયુર મજેઠિયાની બર્થડે 15મી સપ્ટેમ્બર છે અને અંજુબેન દીપકભાઈ શાહની બર્થડે 16 સપ્ટેમ્બર છે. સર્વે સ્પાઉસને એમની બર્થડે નિમિત્તે ખૂબ ખૂબ શુભકામનાઓ. With this, back to you, Parimalbhai.
Thank you, Rutvij bhai. Looking forward for the 17th event. Now I would request Nidhi Sompura and Nidhi Sompura for a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Parimalbhai. Good evening, everyone. Well, I, on behalf of President, Secretary, and entire Rotary Metro team, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Dr. Sachin Parikh for sharing with us his insights. It was actually a value for time sitting here, sir, and listening to you. A big thank you for your efforts you have put in today for all of us, making such a huge presentation, with more than 40 slides. It is very time consuming. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. અમારા માટે એવું કહેવાય છે કે ટીચર જ્યારે બોલવાનું ચાલુ કરે એટલે 1 કલાક પછી જ પૂરું કરે છે. સો
Yes, sir, I very much agree with you. I'm also part of education, and that is why probably sessions 75 minutes के हो गए हैं, क्योंकि टीचर को 40-50 मिनट से काम चलता नहीं है. Well, I may like to express our sincere thanks to Rotarian Amitabh Chakor for four-way test, and to N. Varsha Shah for reciting the prayer and making the atmosphere divine. I really appreciate Rotarian Ankur Satani for introducing the speaker amongst us so precisely. And yes, many thanks to Rotarian Parimal Vasavda for being a flawless master of ceremony for the program. A big thanks to all of you present here. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nidhi.
Thank you,
Parimal bhai, એક મિનિટ લઈશ વચ્ચે.
હા.
એકચ્યુઅલી ઋત્વિજભાઈએ કીધું અને મારે પણ આગળ વાત કરવાની રહી, પણ 24મી તારીખે આપણી જે બિઝનેસ મીટિંગ છે, એકચ્યુઅલી વી આર લોન્ચિંગ અ વેરી ગુડ પ્રોજેક્ટ, સ્કોલરશિપ પ્રોજેક્ટનો યુવા અનસ્ટોપેબલ ને ઉડાન સાથે આપણા નૃપેશભાઈ ઇઝ ઇન્સ્ટ્રુમેન્ટલ ઇન ટુ ઇટ, અને ઇટ વિલ બી અ કન્ટિન્યુઅસ પ્રોજેક્ટ ફોર અસ, wherein we will be giving scholarship to around આપણું ટાર્ગેટ 50 સ્ટુડન્ટ્સનું છે. ઓલરેડી વી હેવ ગોટ 32 સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ કમિટમેન્ટ. તો એ પ્રોજેક્ટની આપણે એક ડિટેલ્ડ વાત અને ડિસ્કશન એ દિવસે આપણે ચોક્કસ કરીશું. તો that also is very important for us. તો એ એક જરા ઋતુજીભાઈને એનાઉન્સ કરવાનું રહ્યું હતું, એટલે સાથે મેં આ કરી દીધું. ફાઇન.
Good. Thank
Over
you.
to Parimal bhai.
Thank you, Pibhai. On my personal behalf, I thank you everybody for providing me the opportunity. And yeah, we now raise for the national anthem. Thank you very much.
Sachin bhai, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Sachin bhai.
Yes.
Okay.
भाग्यविधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना
गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा
तव
नामे जागे
तव जय गाथा जन भारत जय जय
अच्छा सचिन भाई તમે છો?
Yes, sir.
Just a
હા.
minute.
So, sir,
અર્પિતભાઈ, meeting
now
adjourn
meeting
કરી દો
is
પહેલા.
formally over.
Just a minute.
Yes, yes.
Vijaybhai, please.
બેલ મારી દો પહેલા.
Meeting is adjourned.
Adjourn.
Now the session will be open. You who want to ask
Yes,
questions
yes,
can always ask questions.